Welcome back to my channel. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Hope everything's going your way today. Today, I'm coming to you with not one, not two, but 3 eye looks. Yes. Today, I'm coming to you with 3 eye looks, swatches, and a review of the Safari Raine palette by Color Raine. Yes, the Color Raine Safari Raine palette. So, if you want to see how the palette performs and get my take on this here palette, then just everybody, let's get started. Man, okay guys, so yeah, your girl's coming right back at you with yet another review of yet another palette that I bought on my not so low buy. And with such a slow start at the beginning of the year, these makeup brands are beginning to make a comeback. And while drugstore, commercial, and high-end brands are so easily accessible with all the Ulta and Sephora's and drugstores out there, indie brands need love too, guys. Thus here I sit, holding in my possession the Color Raine Safari Raine palette. And the Safari Raine palette is actually part of a collection which consists of the Safari Raine palette, 3 lipsticks, 2 brushes, which I elected not to get because your girl already has way too many brushes. And it also comes with a pair of lashes that I did purchase, but I'm unable to show you. But we'll get into that later in the video. First, let's talk about the packaging. The packaging is really cute. It has Color Raine Safari Raine written on the front of the palette. And it has beautiful leaves in a different array of hues, which are very indicative of what I assume is a safari. And on the back of the palette, it has a list of the ingredients, along with an indicator letting you know that this palette has a 12-month shelf life, and the symbol letting you know that the palette is indeed cruelty-free. And it also contains directions for use, which lets you know to blend the powders on your lid in gentle sweeping motions as required, which I probably should have read before I started using the palette. When you open up the palette, it has a nice size mirror. And when you open her up, guys, here are the colors. And when looking at the palette, guys, it has a nice array of golds, greens, even a cool tone brown, and a nice pop of orange. And don't forget the silver and gold. It comes with 4 mattes, and the rest are all shimmers. And I'm actually wearing this palette on my eyes today. I use clay as my transition shading underneath my lower lash line. I use Congo Basin underneath the transition shading in the crease. I use Toucan on the first half of my lid. And I use a combination of clay and Congo Basin in my outer V. And guys, I must admit, I really do love this color story quite a lot. Because not only do the colors truly represent a safari, because unlike some other palettes out there, guys, what's on the outside of the palette is a total indication of what's on the inside of the palette. So first, let's talk about the mattes. Just like all Color Raine palettes out there, the mattes are very highly pigmented and very highly blendable. And when blending the mattes one shade on top of another, you get a nice graduated effect, and you don't get any harsh lines, not at all. And overall, guys, I was impressed with the way the mattes performed in this palette. But unfortunately, guys, there are a couple mattes in this palette for which that statement I just made does not apply. This greenish shade Jungle and this dark brown shade Matriarch. Now don't get me wrong, guys. Once finding a technique that works, you can totally get both of these shades to perform to their ultimate potential. But until you do, guys, both of those shades can be a little bit of a challenge to work with. When doing the reverse method with those shadows, when packing on the shades, I found that I got quite a bit of patchiness in the crease. which is why although I didn't really want to when doing a couple of my looks, the patchiness was so visible that your girl had absolutely no choice but to cover up the patchiness by cutting the crease. However, when blending both of those shades on top of other mattes in the palette, I got absolutely no patchiness at all. So I would say when using Jungle and Matriarch in your eye look, it's best to set your base with powder or just simply blend those two shades over other mattes. And while none of the mattes in the palette had a tremendous amount of fallout, I did find that Jungle and Matriarch seemed to have the most. But again, guys, once I found a technique that worked, I quite enjoy using those two shades just as much as all the other mattes in the palette. But about these shimmers, though. The shimmers are back. I'm not going to speak much on it because you're going to see when I do the eye look, but the shimmers are back. Every single shimmer in the palette had very high intensity when I applied them to my lid using a dry brush. Wet them with a little Fix Plus, yeah. These shimmers in this palette are totally next level. There are one area of opportunity I would say the shimmers in this palette has, which is quite understandable with shimmers that perform such as these. The fallout is real. Because every single shimmer in this palette consists of fine glitter. So unfortunately, guys, glitter fallout is inevitable. And avoiding it is impossible. So unless you want to look like a ball drop in Times Square on New Year's Eve, eye look first, complexion last. But there's no reason to throw the baby out with the bathwater because the shimmers perform that great there. I'm willing to overlook it and more willing to work around it. And I know there's a little buzz going on out there in the beauty world about how Color Raine copied off of Juvia's Place Tri palette when they created the Safari Raine palette. But unfortunately, guys, I would have to beg to differ. One, because I'm the queen of unpopular opinions. And two, it's just not true. And that's just putting it lightly. When looking at both palettes, while they are indeed similar, they are most definitely not identical. Because in looking at the tones in the Safari Raine palette, they pull significantly darker than the shades in the Juvia's Place Tri palette. And really, out of all 9 shades in both palettes, I really only found one shade in each palette that could be almost identical, and one shade in each palette that kind of resemble. This shade Jungle from the Safari Raine palette is almost identical to Sand from the Juvia's Place Tri palette. This is Jungle from the Safari Raine palette, and this is Sand from the Juvia's Place Tri palette. And while both shades look like they can almost be identical, Sand from the Juvia's Place palette is clearly a lighter green than Jungle from the Safari Raine palette. And the one other shade that I found to be almost similar was this shade Tigress from the Safari Raine palette and this shade Curler from the Juvia's Place Tri palette. This is Tigress from the Safari Raine palette, and this is Curler from the Juvia's Place Tri palette. And then looking at the swatches, you can clearly see that Tigress pulls more red, while Curler most definitely pulls more orange. And while Lioness from the Safari Raine palette and Chaga from the Juvia's Place Tri palette look quite similar in the pan because of the green shift in the shade Chaga from the Tri palette, both shades are quite different. This is Lioness from the Safari palette, and this is Chaga from the Tri palette. So as you can tell, guys, there's really no more to see here, because Color Raine clearly did not copy off of Juvia's Place. And there are also 3 lipsticks in the collection. We have Queendom, Huntress, and May She Rain. Queendom is a nice bright orange shade. May She Rain is a nice mauve shade. And Huntress is a deep, vampy brown. This shade is Queendom. This shade is May She Rain. And this shade is Huntress. And I must admit, guys, I'm glad I bought all 3 lipsticks because they actually remind me of the Luxe Trans lipsticks from Pat McGrath. And because of the texture and the way they melt into your lips, the Color Raine lipsticks do tend to accentuate fine lines. Because it's such a great formula, I don't much mind it, but if something like that bothers you, which is understandable, you might want to stay away from these lipsticks. But about them lashes, though. The website claims you're supposed to get 15 to 20 uses, but for some reason, your girl couldn't even get through 3 eye looks before the thread on the lashes started unraveling. It could be just that they sent me a defective pair, It could be just that I wasted $20. Either way, guys, I've had better for less, I could have totally skipped out on the lashes. But other than that, guys, I'm truly happy with every other product from the collection that I purchased. So now that we got that part done, enough all the yapping. We got 3 eye looks to get through, so this video's about to be a barn burner. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. It only gets greater later, guys. It only gets greater later. So until next time, guys, stay real, stay positive, stay up, and damn it, you better watch, fight, and pray. Let's get into these swatches, though. Hello. You got Toucan, Clay, Tigress, Congo Basin, Green Valley, Jungle, Lioness, Amazon Basin, and Matriarch.
matter where you find yourself, no matter what kind of stuff is going on in your life, underneath it all, everything's actually all right. You're okay. You have more power than you might be giving yourself credit for. And if you have something that's going on in your life right now that's challenging or painful, it's just a reminder to take a little bit better care of yourself. Because you're worth it. You can have this feeling.